What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Did y'all see that? What?
Let's just throw Scream 6 in there for like
It
my
was good.
favorite movie. It was really good. The best of the franchise, in my opinion, since the first one.
Yeah.
Gralen Bryant Banks, welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm. How are you, sir?
I am very well, sir, and yourself.
Oh, we are living the dream, and we are super excited to talk to you for numerous reasons. One, because you're in the industry that we love. Two, you're in one of the most talked about films of the year thus far. And
Yes.
three,
Yes.
you're from the city that we love. You're living in New Orleans, man, where we
Born and
just
raised.
thrive.
Born and raised.
Oh, yes, sir. It's where we kind of kicked off our business and
love
got into the industry. And so, yeah, I can't think of a better person that we would want to talk to you than you.
It's full circle, man. It's a pleasure to be here on this occasion. I tell you, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what we like to do for anybody that might not be familiar with you is kind of start this thing off with, we're always curious about how people get into the industry. Was it I knew right away this is what I want to do? Did you kind of fall into it by accident? How'd you get started?
Fell over ass backwards into this industry. It was honestly nothing that was ever on my list of things to do, to be an actor, to be in film, nothing like that. I had a pretty good career about 3 careers ago. I was the director of safety and loss prevention at the Hyatt Regency in New Orleans. And we had a little weather about 20 years ago in a couple of months you might have heard about.
Yeah.
But I was at work when that happened. And then right after that happened, November, I met the Ernest Collins, who was at that time Mayor Nagin's director for arts and entertainment, at an opening of a hotel because everything was just starting to try to be rebuilt. And they were featuring Kermit Ruffins and Irvin Mayfield. Gonna be a little trumpet battle to give the people something to come out. So I went out, man. It was because of my love for music and getting out of the hotel that I was at to go over and have some fun. That and my love of Heineken's, because a gentleman was passing with a tray of ice cold Heineken's, man. And I said, my man, let me get one of them Heineken's. And when he passed by, I grabbed one Heineken. And I thought to myself, well, really, you got 2 hands. Why wouldn't you just get, 2 beers? So I said, hold up, my man.
That's right.
And it was that movement that caused me to get that second Heineken. That when I turned around, I saw Ernest Collins. He and I started a conversation. And when I was telling him what was going on, he would say, well, really, you never left. I said, no, man, I've been here the whole time. And he said, well, I literally just got off the phone with Spike Lee's people. Would you mind if I gave them your information to contact you? I said, no, man, I don't mind one bit. Just, go ahead and do that. And that was 20 years ago. And for whatever reason, when the levees broke, he featured me in When the Levees Broke. And man, the phone started ringing.
Yeah.
I cannot even tell you. I say to people today, I don't know what they see when they see me, because I just see me. But whatever they see, they like. So hell, let's go for it, right? And but that's what happened, man. I got a show on TBS, and then Treme, David Simon and Eric Overmeyer, which was huge. And after that, the big thing came. I walked away from a 6-figure salary because it was an opportunity to film Benji for Netflix, the remake of the classic Benji. So I wasn't going to, I've been a boss. I was a boss. So I know an employee couldn't come to me and ask me for 8 weeks off and then want to come back to work. You're going to have to make a decision. You can't stay home with your foot on third. It's not going to happen, right? So talked to my boss, my wife, 40 years in August.
There you go.
And then stepped out on faith and said my prayers. And now 55 films and television shows later, here we are. And that's literally how.
Wow. Wow.
That is literally how it happened. It was never, ever on my list of things to do. I kid you not.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing to hear because, you come from a city of New Orleans where, everybody does rebuild themselves. That city is so entrenched and so deep rooted heritage and what it's
Absolutely.
able to do and what it's able to bring forth to just the culture, what it's able to bring forth to the rest of the world and the rest of the country, I think is absolutely beautiful. And you rising from the ashes yourself and completely restarting your life, basically, at least professionally, I
Yeah.
think that is absolutely amazing. I mean, did you ever, while starting this process of getting into the acting game, getting into the entertainment space, did you ever like second step? Did you ever pitter pat where you're like, wow, did I make the right decision? Did I make the right thing for me and my family moving forward?
Hell yeah.
There we go. Love the honesty.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Plenty of days, man. Again, it was a matter of faith. Sometimes your destiny finds you. And I was just getting offers and opportunities, and I did the whole starving artist thing. I was a bartender. This is from being a director in the hotel to tending bar. My friend Kermit Ruffins, I was working the door at his two clubs, Sweet Lorraine's Jazz Club in the city. I was tending bar there. I was hustling and doing what
Hmm.
actors do, doing
Yeah.
what
Yep.
actors do
Yeah.
to work in between. So I got that taste of the life, and but no, there were, oh yeah, several questions of myself and of the good Lord above, and say, bro, you sure? Are
Hmm.
Yeah.
you sure this is
Yeah.
where you
Right.
want me? I'm not doubting. I'm just asking because, but no, it was a matter of faith, and we just stepped out on it, and so far so good, man. But no, there were times of definite, boy, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
Right.
no doubt. And I think that, everybody that gets into this industry, whether it's like a path yourself where it was totally
Yes,
unexpected and it just kind of, or people that were driven from a get go and knew and they get into
yes,
it, there's always that point where you question whether you're doing the right thing. I think, you're not human if you're not questioning whether you
I
made the
agree.
right decision. But
I
what I
agree.
really like that you said is, one of my favorite sayings is leap and the net shall appear. and
There you go.
and the faith, right? You're
Yes,
like, you just,
yes.
because, and you referred to it as destiny, and I love that. It's because once you know, even
You
through the
know,
hard points, you just know this is what the universe has planned for me, this is what
that's
the
right.
path that God has put me on.
That's
And it's
right.
hard, but this is right,
But
and you
whoever
just
said
feel it.
easy? Look,
That's
whoever
exactly
said
right.
easy.
If it's worth it, it's supposed to be hard, right? Right.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Sometimes I was wondering if it had to be this damn hard, but
Yes, yes,
but even with that, it all of those trials make the victories that much sweeter, man.
that's right.
It's it gets an opportunity to get it done, and another day, one foot in front of the other, and let's see where it leads us, right?
Absolutely. And I love like what Logan said about the culture and the resilience of the city. And for
Yes.
living there as long as I did, it's the one thing that stood out to me. It's also, I think, one of my favorite things about that area and about the people there is it's one of the rare places in this country where you can see in the same street within a 2 block radius wealthy people and poor people, and they're okay. It's
Oh
not,
yeah.
you see it in so many communities where they're separated. It's, hey, no way, don't come across the tracks, we don't want
No
you
man.
here. No, New Orleans, you walk up down the street within a block, you see everything, every
You go
type of
from
person, every,
mansions.
oh,
That's right.
absolutely.
From
And
mansions to the hood
that's exactly right, and they're
in a 5 minute
okay.
walk.
that's
In a
that's
5 minute walk. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love that because, and I want you to kind of talk about again, like, because I think I have an answer for you about, you don't know what they saw, right? When they see you.
Yes.
but
Yes. Still
but
don't.
I think it's authenticity is what they see. You come across very authentic to me. And I think when you are successful in this career as an actor, especially in front of the camera, it's
Uh huh.
all about authenticity. You connect to an audience because people can connect to you. And that's because you're not bringing a character, you're bringing Gralen. And
That's
and
all I got.
that's exactly
That's all I
right.
got.
So
And it's funny you say that because the whole career started with when the levees broke, which was not scripted. That was a documentary, and
that's
all
right.
I was doing was there. And trust me, at that time, I had all four letters. I had the P, the T, the S, and the D. I've got rid of the
Yeah,
T, the S, and the D, but I've got a little bit of P left,
that's
right?
right.
But at that time, what you got was exactly what I was feeling at the time, raw, uncut, and it worked.
Mm.
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 I love that too. Yeah, because you have to be resilient, especially in the entertainment industry, but especially in life too. I mean, no matter what career path you choose, because this podcast is for the up and comers trying to break into the industry,
Yes.
but especially those who, are just interested in the entertainment journey or just chasing a dream overall. And it's very important to know and acknowledge that you will fail. You will fall down on your face, but you have to continue getting yourself back up and continue moving forward. Because if it's truly what you want to do in life, then you will find that passion, you will find that drive, and you will find that determination to continue moving forward. And it's very scary too, because when you're in this industry, there's different pockets around the country and around the world that are continuing to build their incentives, continuing to build
Yes.
studios, continuing to
Yes.
shoot in different locations. So as someone who is from, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, the original LA, the
Mhm.
original Hollywood South, what do you say to those people who are always like, I want to pursue my dreams, but do I have to move to LA? Do I have to move to Atlanta? What do you say to those people?
I say I'm a living, breathing example of no, you don't
Mm,
have to. Now, granted, uh, most of the things that I have been in have been regional. I've shot a couple of things in Atlanta, a couple of things in Texas, but mostly in and around New Orleans. And because Hollywood has come to us, and
mm-hmm,
I think that was right now a big part of why I don't think you actually have to be there is because of COVID
Yes.
and the advances in what we're doing now.
mm-hmm,
Zoom and meetings and people working remotely. So when you used to have to be somewhere to do an audition, anything like that, now you can tape it, you can send it in, and if you're lucky enough to get a call back or to be cast in the role, then you can fly there, do your job, and then come back home. But it's I don't think it's a disadvantage to if you're chasing your dream to pack up and move out to LA or Atlanta. If you're chasing your dream, then go where there's more gold. There's less gold here in New Orleans and Louisiana area, but it's enough for me. It's
Yeah.
more than enough because I don't need the whole mine. If I get me a decent enough vein,
Yeah.
I can mine that one vein until I'm good enough. So yeah, there's arguments to be made on both sides, but I don't think it's as much of a necessity as it was at one time. You don't have to move there.
Right,
mm,
right. Well,
completely agree.
we have a lot of guests tell us that that are outside of the LA, New York, Toronto
Mhm.
regions that they would rather be a big fish in a small pond and be okay with than that little fish in that big pond trying to compete, right? And
All the
because
time.
like you said, you might not get as much opportunity here, but the opportunity you get, you're the guy. So
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, I think that and there's a path there for people that want to go
yes,
that way. There definitely is. I also like what you said about how COVID kind of changed the game because I am old enough, like so many people, that I remember cattle calls. I remember
absolutely,
and it was intimidating to walk into a room where there's 100 other people that look exactly like you,
exactly like you
and to
do.
try to stand
Exactly.
out and say what's going to make me the guy. Now at least with the self tapes, right?
Right.
You have a little bit of that individuality. They're not seeing 100 other yous. They're just seeing you. They chose to click on you, and they're going to watch you.
That's right.
And if
That's
you
right.
mess up, you can do it again. You don't get that in the room, right? You
No, you
blow it.
don't.
Maybe they say, hey, let's try that again. Give
Let's
me
try
this.
this. And if you get that,
If
you know
you
you're
get
doing
that.
good. Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
But
Let
most
me see
people
it
do
again.
not. So
Right.
with the self tape,
Right.
you at least go, let me do 85 different ways it and send what I think is my best. So it has kind of increased the opportunity for people that didn't have it before to maybe get
Yes.
in that room, which is a
Yes.
really good thing. Um, I also want to talk about, because I think it's kind of shifted the game. The industry is kind of theatrical release to streaming, and what
Oh yeah.
streaming has done to the window of how long something will stay, and it's really kind of put pressure on the studios because these streamers are expensive and
They
now
are
they
very
need these
expensive.
movies to make money. So we have to focus on
Right.
IP that we own. We can't take these risks anymore with these indie films.
With it. That's right.
But you, sir, were in a movie this year that proved that a little bit different. You can
A
still
lot
tell a
different.
creative story that is
That's right.
original, not based on a property, and make a profit if it's
Yes.
done well. So
If it's a
let's
good
dive
movie.
into it. Yeah, let's dive
If it's
into
a good
Sinners,
movie.
man. Talk about it. What
Sinners,
was that
man.
audition process like?
I was so lucky on that one. I actually got called. Megan Lewis did the casting here in New Orleans, and she called me for a table read. And she said, "We got a table read, and I want you to come down and you'll be reading for this character called Delta Slim, right?"
Mm-hmm.
So I got the script, and I was reading. I'm like, "Oh snap! This crazy as fuck, right?" I'm saying, this is wow, and that's how I was reading the script. Oh man! So when we did the table read, man, I met Ryan, I met Zenzi and Seb, and all the good folks, man, from Proximity, and folks were on video and screaming. A lot of local actors were there, so it was a really good vibe in the room. Then I got the call that I had gotten the role for Patterson, who at that time was patron number one,
Mm-hmm.
the first guy who got served at the new Juke, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And to be there on that set to watch, dude, Ryan Coogler, Michael, Delroy Lindo, Wumi. I cannot even. I don't have the words, and I'm a rhetorician by nature. I love words, but this was a master's class for doctoral students. You
Oh
understand
yeah,
what this
yeah.
this was a to see what he does. And when he was dealing with me, he said, "Listen," and he whispered, he said, "Listen, I want to see it this way." And he told me to come. And I know that was to see, he saw this movie in his head.
Hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you were saying, the original indie film that was just his idea, why it was shot on film, why all the things were done. Because as a movie lover, he saw this movie in his head. And what he tried to put on the screen at the final cut was as close to what he had imagined at the time. But that's why he saw, I got a chance to see him look, shoot it, try this way. And then when I saw the film, I saw that it didn't come out that way. It came out the other way, but you had to give it a try because he was seeing it in a different way. It was a master class, man. It was everybody. I had to shake Delroy Lindo's hand and tell him that West Indian Archie was one of my favorite characters ever
Yes.
in film, not just
Yes.
in Malcolm X, but in film. I loved West Indian Archie and his portrayal, and just to be on set with those guys, man, and I can't say enough, you know, about Smoke and Stack. That was
Oh, what? Yeah, yeah.
and my man who played the double. Oh, bro, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pull you. But there was a double. They shot
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it with two people, but he made the credits. I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna pull your name up on IMDb because my blade's blanking out on me. But to see the red and the blue suit changes, and to see both people standing there and doing this great job in building these characters, and then to see the one person at the film that both of those guys, I saw both sides, and my man was two different people when he played two different characters. He
Mm.
was two. He was a lot when he was Smoke. He was a lot more close to the vest.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
He was a lot because Smoke was the more serious
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
one, and he was that guy doing that. Now when he was stabbed, hey baby, what's happening? He go around,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a different. You could see the difference in the characters, although you mentally knew it was the same guy. But I'm just telling you, man, you'd have me talking here till next week about what a blessing as far as an opportunity it was to be on that set with the director and with Autumn, who was the DP, who just oh man, I'd be naming everybody, but I can tell you that it was such a phenomenal experience to be on that set and to watch what you see in the theaters, what has captured the imaginations of audiences globally, to be there when it was being spun, to be there when it was being put together. I incredible, pales in comparison to what it actually was, but as close as I can get to it,
Oh,
it was incredible.
oh,
No, most definitely. Yeah, it really was like an example of, showing that the entertainment industry and the movie industry doesn't need to be these quote unquote big superhero, big
Right,
blockbusters, big explosions.
right.
It showed that there still is a desire for a original story at the cinemas, because I think that's kind of where we're at now. You're seeing all of these beautiful stories get told, but not really make a lot of money. And then
Yes.
when this film came out and did gangbusters as it did, I'm sure Warner Brothers was just like, "What the hell? We were not expecting that."
I don't
So
think anybody was, but
no,
it's
I
almost 400 million.
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it's
Almost
so
400 million.
amazing. It really is. But I mean, yeah, just to be there and to be engulfed in the entire process, because I think this is the saving grace. This film is the saving grace of the theatrical experience,
I
because,
agree.
like I said, with certain things like video game adaptations, superheroes being like less and less of a draw, or at least more critically targeted, I do think these films, like Sinners, Ryan Coogler's masterpiece, is something that the community and just everybody in general has been thriving for. They've been
Yes.
waiting for a film like this to come out. I think it was absolutely amazing. And to be able to be on a set with such amazing people, like you said, Delroy completely stole the show
Yes.
for
Oh,
Dustin and
totally.
myself.
Yeah,
Like we were
yeah.
saying, that's our favorite character of the
Yeah, to
entire
see him.
thing.
He said, "Boy, I cut you thin enough to fry."
Oh,
Right.
look, look. And I don't know about your theater where you saw it at the premiere or whatever, but in my theater, every time he spoke, my crowd erupted. They were
Yes.
loving every second of him. Like,
Yes.
yeah, and
Yes.
I was
Yes.
like,
Y'all,
yeah.
y'all smell anything?
Uh, you, I love
That's a
though.
great line, man.
Oh, without doubt, without doubt. I love that you brought up that Ryan shot it on film. I love
Yes.
that you referenced that this is a storyteller. He
This
has
is
a
a
vision. He's
storyteller.
a storyteller. You look at that. You can go all the way back and look at that at Fruitvale Station and
Yes.
everything that he's done.
Yes.
I remember an interview that Michael B did, and he said he was sold on. He wasn't too sure of Ryan at first, but he was sold on him after he met him at Starbucks and he
Uh-huh.
heard him tell the story. He's like, I know this story. I know what happens to this guy. I know because it's. But why should? And he said after Ryan told the vision, the
Yeah.
story. Here's how
Yes.
I want to sell it. Michael was all in, and
I'm
obviously
in.
that relationship has worked for all these
Oh yeah.
years
Oh yeah.
because they see it. But I think that that's what the key is to the success of this movie was you have to be a storyteller, you have to be a
Oh.
visionary. And thank
Oh yeah.
God, like Logan said, for this film, because I think that these type films were destined to be greenlit for the streamers and never
That's
see the
right.
light of day in the theater. But
Never
this
see the
movie, like
theater.
Logan said, might have been the salvation for that. No, we
Oh
can
yeah.
still put these type movies on the big screen. Forget the streamer
That's
stuff.
right.
There is still a space for these stories to
That's
be
right.
told. And
Asses in
yeah,
seats, my friend. That's what they showed.
that's
You
right.
can make a film that puts asses in seats.
That's
And
right.
at the end of the day, Hollywood is much of the creative juices that we would love for it to be flowing through. There is a definite, very strong vein of economics
Yes.
that goes through this
Yes.
Oh,
thing, and
it's
that's what everything. That's the measure.
right.
That's the
Hmm.
measure.
Right.
And what he showed was a well thought out, well crafted, well put together, creative, original film can put asses in seats. Now,
Yes.
not just in America, but around the world.
That's right.
Hmm.
That's right.
But
It's
around
done
the
well.
world.
Yeah.
I think made a very good point. I think there will be cinema pre-centers and cinema post-centers because I think you'll see
Agreed.
a lot more studios taking a chance on independence. Everybody's not going to hit a home run like centers, but if we get a bunch of triples, two or three doubles, and a single, maybe a bunt,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
do good because I'd rather those than just pumping them out, putting them on the stream, or
That's
pumping
right.
them out, and you get much ado about nothing. This
That's
was
right.
a great film, and I hope it sets a precedent and actually changes direction of what's going on and what gets green lighted by the major studios.
Agreed.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Completely agree. Yeah, because like we've been talking about, it's all evolution and it's all about helping the up and comers come into it because we've
Yes,
been recycling a lot of content. We've been seeing the same things, the same IP come in. We've been seeing the same
yeah,
actors, but now there's this new generation, right? They're finally coming into Hollywood and into the limelight and making their own stamp on the entertainment industry with the stories that they're telling. Like, for
yes.
example, Miles Canton, like absolutely amazing. This being his first ever film, it was
Ever.
crazy. So what I mean, what was he like on set? Was he
That boy
just
can
like,
sing.
what is
Listen, let me
happening?
tell
Yeah.
you something.
Yeah.
That boy can sing. You hear
Yeah.
what I'm telling you? He can sing. I don't. Coolest young brother, humble, just talking. We standing there, and he's skilled, but it's that kind of skill that is, I'm not gonna say hidden, but he doesn't wear it. It's not
Mm,
it's not flaunted. It's not. He's just a cool cat until you touch him, and it's like a ninja. He turns into this guy, and it's just
right.
all of a sudden. It was an absolute pleasure working with him, and to think that this was his first time out,
Yeah.
first time out on that stage with that caliber of
Yeah.
folks around him, those
Hmm.
actors, veterans, and I mean, I'm got a few films, but this high, this is the deep into the pool. You
Yeah.
For
you know
Yeah.
sure.
what I'm saying? And he not only held his own, he exceeded it.
Yeah.
He
Mm.
exceeded it. And personality wise, just every day, always cool, never problem, no star. Now I don't know how the better gonna be on this next film, but but on this one, man, just as cool as the other side of the pillar.
I
Love
love that.
that. Yeah, well, I think because you nailed it. I think what you said was that's who he was. He
That's who.
can
Yeah,
that's
that's what
who
you
he
got.
is. So and again, I think it goes back to Ryan's ability to find authenticity.
That's right.
Those I feel
That's
like
right.
this film worked so well because what you saw is who those people are. That is
Who they
true, authentic. This is the people that we are. This is the culture that we are. This is the story that we tell. And that translated. That translated to
were.
everybody who saw that film. One more thing I want to say is because I really like how you described the being on set and how it happened with the table read, right?
Uh
I think
huh.
that so many people trying to get into the industry make the mistake of letting the ego get ahead of them a little bit. And it's like that role's too small for me. I don't want to be patron number one. I want a speaking role. I want this. I want that. And I'm like, if you are patron number one and we don't hear a thing out of your mouth, you are on a set with those people learning that stuff. Like you said, it's a master class. There's no such thing as a small role or too small a role. If you have an opportunity to get on a set like that, I don't care if you're
Jump,
bringing coffee, you bring the
jump,
coffee to whoever, right? Like,
jump.
I
That's
mean,
right.
yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. So
But
I love that you said that because, yeah,
I
you
can
want me
tell
for
you,
a table read? No problem. Like,
I'm
yeah.
there. But I can tell you that I learned that from experience. Again, being early in the game, squares of food table and twice as green. When we did, you understand? When we did Treme,
Yeah.
Mm.
my role was Black Men of Labor, and I had
Hmm.
two lines. When I auditioned, when we shot it, I had 14 lines.
That's
And
right.
David Simon said, "There's no way in the world we can cast you as anybody else except Gralen Banks." So, in a fictional adaptation about my hometown, New Orleans, by two guys from Baltimore, I play myself.
There
I
you
play
Oh,
go.
Gralen Banks. And that's when he said, "Man, you just you. You're just real." So, and I am a Black man of labor, my social and pleasure club, and I'm a soulful warrior in the Zulu Social Aid Pleasure Club, and I'm a New Orleanian. So all of those things go hand in hand. So when we were talking about New Orleans, it just came like we're gonna have this conversation, and like we're gonna talk, and the next thing you know, I went from two lines to a bunch of them.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
exactly. Exactly. So
Yes,
good, man. So good. But how we like to round out these conversations, because it's crazy, it's already been like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it just happens when you're with like-minded folks, man. You just get to talking and things come so easy, especially when you're from the Crescent
That's that
City. That is
Nolans
for
Percy
flair.
sure.
Bell. Percy Bell. I had to shout.
There
I
you
just
go.
put his
Percy
name on
I
there.
love it.
Bell.
I love it. Even the whole time he's like, I'm getting this. I'm getting this.
I
But
got to get him.
yeah,
Percy
no, no.
Bell was he was either smoke or stack, depending on what scene they were shooting.
That's
But he was
right.
there for the whole. For another really cool, really down to earth cat who's probably not gonna get all the props, but he was the other side of whichever Michael B. Jordan character was in character. He was the other side. So shouts out to my man Percy
You
Bell.
know, I just shout out to you because that
Yes.
that is mad respect for you to take the time to point that out. Because a lot of people wouldn't know that. A lot of people would think that that's just that Michael does one, they cut. Michael does the other one, they cut. Michael, they don't understand that there's another man doing that performance that you will never see,
You
right?
won't
And
see
for
him.
you to give that man his prop and give him credit like that says a lot about you too, my friend. It really
Well, thank you,
does.
sir. As he's a good cat, man. He needs to get it. And I'm telling you, looks like him. Not just body physique wise,
Yeah.
physically. There, you could say they were either younger brother and older brother, definitely first cousin.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yes,
That's awesome.
That
yes,
is
yes.
really cool. That is. But we'd like to hit you with some popcorn questions. And these are some fun questions just so the audience can get to know you a little bit more and maybe tell
Sure.
some stories about certain things. So the first one we always know and love. What do you think was the funniest moment or most memorable moment on the set of Sinners?
Ooh, ooh.
The funniest, most memorable moment, I think, it was with Omar Miller, who was Cornbread,
Mm-hmm.
when they were shooting the scene with he and Delroy, uh, and he told him uh, he had to go piss. He got to go watch the door while he go
Mm-hmm.
piss. But he really did have to go. And they knew it. They knew it. And it was like, hey, well, wait, let's kind of get you like my man. I say, hold up. I know we shoot, but the reality of the world has encroached on this set because I really do gotta go.
That's hilarious.
Just the timing of it. Just the why would you be shooting that scene when you gotta go and you actually gotta go.
Oh
Right.
my gosh,
Yeah, yeah.
that is
And another
classic.
great cat, man, Omar Miller, man, Cornbread. Had to walk around with half his face torn off after being
Mm-hmm.
shot for about 3 or 4 days, and yeah, we had a good time.
Oh my gosh, love that. Okay, I'm really curious about this one because you've thrown around some great stuff. So I'm really curious. If you could live in any film or TV show, which one would it be and why?
Tremaine.
Yeah, all right, all
Mm.
right. There you go.
Because I know that one. I know that one. Listen.
And you get to
It,
still
it,
be you.
and that's what it is, man. This acting is great, but if I could just be me, I kind of like me. I don't know if you
Yeah,
can tell.
no, no.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a slim dude. I've been knowing him for a long time. I know his parents. I know his people, his brothers. He good. He all right. So I kind of like him. So I love the creative side, but also pragmatic enough to know if I had to go somewhere, I'd rather go where I know and not
Love
have to worry
that.
about. I think I'd fit in much better on the real side. But other than that, man, I think I'd like to be Detective Reggie Hammond in American Horror House, which was a
Oh,
sci-fi
yeah.
shot I did some years ago. He
Yeah.
was named after Beverly Hills Cop, Reggie Hammond, and was
Yes.
a detective. I had a very memorable death. I was kissed by a beautiful lady ghost who, in the middle of kissing me, bit my tongue and then went to yank my whole insides out by pulling my tongue out of my mouth. And that was
That's
my very
wild.
spectacular death.
Yeah. Yeah. That's one way to go.
I love a good gag,
Yeah.
man. I
Yeah.
love a gag. This is one of the best. So yeah, that's that guy.
Fantastic.
That's epic. I'm gonna have to look up that scene
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
this.
Oh yeah,
That's exactly.
it's when Reggie Hammond meets his demise. It's gonna be one of the ones. Yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. I got you. I'm gonna find you on Instagram and let you know my reactions.
Please
That's for
do,
sure.
please
I
do.
got
I'm
you.
there.
I
All
got
three
you.
names: Gralen Bryant Banks. You can find me. I'm easy to find.
There you
Yes,
go.
sir. Yes, sir. Now, this third question is a new one that we're adding to our popcorn
Okay.
questions. It's a little deep. It's a little deep. What was your biggest fear as a kid? And then what is your biggest fear now?
My biggest fear as a kid, I think, was drowning because
Hmm.
I live in a place that is surrounded by water.
Mm-hmm.
and bayous and lakes and rivers and everything. And I, growing up, knew a couple of people who lost their lives in water. And I learned to swim.
Hmm.
I'm not Olympic level by any stretch, but I think I can save my own life
There
if
you
There we
go.
that
go.
came down to it, which is the most important part. But my fear for today is tomorrow, uh,
Mm.
Mm.
because I've got grandkids. Shouts out to Hill Haru, Onyx, Ryan Soul, and Sunny Ray, all Hamiltons, who are
Beautiful.
hanging out right now down in Costa Rica. Hola.
I love that.
They are, I want my world for them, although I know it's impossible to have all the things that I have, but I want them to have my world in the sense of freedom. I want them to still
Mm.
be able to think. I don't want them to live under any type of royal edict. I don't believe that. I was raised when we were still teaching civics in class and the three branches and checks and balances, and we broke away from England because of King George and not being here. We didn't like kings. And I think after being raised on 200 and some years of democracy, it's going to be very difficult to get these folks to adapt to anything like that. And it's
Hmm.
even more difficult for me as a New Orleanian because, as you may or may not know, New Orleans is older than the
Yeah,
United States of
that's
America,
right.
right? We turn 300. Y'all don't turn 300 until 76,
That's
right?
Hmm.
right.
We already turned 300. So all y'all illegal aliens to us, but we not bad. You know, we
That's right. That's
you
right.
can just come on in, you just come on in. But that it would be if I had a fear, and I don't do a lot with fear. I usually try to say if you're moving forward and you're active and you're doing something, you will allay whatever fears you have. Either that, or you won't have enough time to be afraid.
Mm.
So
Love that.
that would be it if I had to think about something, because uh, the stresses of the world and the pressures that are going to be visited upon those kids right now at 5, 3, and less than a year,
Mm.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm hoping and praying that there will be some semblance of the world, kind of like I knew it, as far as their ability just to be, not
Mm.
to
Yes.
be anything, but their ability just to be.
Hmm.
That man, that is deep and that is solid. Like that, I love that. I love that answer. Um, we're gonna stay deep a little bit because
Okay.
you've had, like you said, this amazing life and these amazing careers and all of these things and how you've pulled it all together. So I'm real curious about this one. If you could go back and tell your 10-year-old self something, give him some advice, what would you tell him?
Buy Amazon and Apple.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Forget all the deep stuff. Forget all the
Like,
philosophy. Boy,
no,
it's money. Buy this.
like, listen.
I love that. I
That's what
love
I
it.
tell her. But
Ah.
I don't. What would I tell my 10-year-old self? That little dude was kind of hit his time. I don't know
Hmm.
if I would tell. I would probably ask him some questions,
Oh, I love that.
uh, because I think adults tend to civilize the honesty out of children,
Mm.
Mm.
because children are naturally honest. If somebody's big, kids are going to say, wow, look at that fat guy. It's not that they're trying to.
Sure.
And again, please don't write me calls and letters. If you're big, I'm big too. The point is that there's a level of honesty that comes when you're a child that I think what we use as civilization gets wiped out of us, and we become less honest, trying to be more liked or
Mm.
trying
Hmm.
to be more mannerable or anything like that, especially when you got girls. Because I don't want you to smile when you're not happy. I don't want you to do anything because
That's right.
somebody else feels comfortable. I don't want you to dim your light because somebody else needs to shine. I need you to shine the way you need to shine. And I would ask him, how do you see it right now? What do you see is going on right now? You good? How's life? And I think from a 10-year-old perspective, I was a pretty insightful kid. And he might be able to give me some things that I could act on now as a grown man that I wish I would have paid more attention to or given more weight
Yeah.
at the time
Mm,
when I was 10. So yeah, I'd ask him some questions.
love
No, yeah,
that.
for sure. Yeah, because I think we also have a mental health podcast that we do, and we talk about, going back to the younger versions of ourselves,
Yeah,
different aspects of either being more brave than we are now, or being like you're talking about, more honest just about everything in life.
yeah,
Because sometimes we do spend too much time living in the clouds, or sometimes we spend too much time living in the dumps.
that's
But
right.
that
That's right.
that child only sees what's in front of them
It's in
and
front of
how
them.
to take that step forward. So as adults, you almost wish you can have that childhood strength to
That's
continue moving forward.
That's what it is.
Hmm.
Strength. Because it's the strength of honesty. See,
Hmm.
nowadays you get pilloried. Nowadays, if you tell somebody something that they don't like, because they don't like it, then all of a sudden you become something. I
Yeah.
Yep.
have to objectize you and make you into something because you told me something that I disagreed with or didn't like. When as a kid, you say how you feel. You didn't try to hurt the fat man's feelings when you call him fat. You just saw a fat guy and you just call him fat. And then you learn, okay, I might not want to call him fat, but that does not make him any smaller.
Right. Right.
That's
Exactly.
That doesn't
right.
make
That's
that doesn't make him
right.
any smaller.
No.
If even that I'm learning how to say it in a more acceptable way,
Right.
I'm still seeing the reality that I'm seeing. And at 10 years old, I wasn't afraid to point out that reality.
Mm.
Later on in life, you're a bit reticent about saying that what is what is.
That's
The
right.
emperor don't
Yeah.
have no clothes on. The
Yeah.
emperor's
Right.
naked. The emperor's naked. You need a 10-year-old. You
Yeah.
need a 10-year-old. Hey man, that dude's naked.
That's
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. That is not the finest cloth of them all. Okay.
It's
You are
not.
butt ass naked.
You are naked.
That
And
is so funny.
what we see in your nakedness is disgusting.
That's
Please,
right.
please.
Please
That is
cover
so
up.
funny. Oh my
Please cover
goodness.
up. Yes.
Well, we got a fifth and final one for you. Are
Yes,
you
sir.
happy with your career so far?
Oh, ecstatic. Seeing I'll put it to you this way. You don't know how happy I am to have a career
Mm-hmm.
doing something that I never even thought. Dude, I'm from New Orleans. I got people who have been musicians and actors and stage people for years. I got 55 films and television shows in 20 years, from Katrina to right now, which will be 20 years later this year in August. But I've passed people who have been doing this for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, have been in it. Why am I better than them? And none of that happens because I can't make myself popular. That's
Mm-hmm.
not my call. I can't make myself. You say, well, how you show me how to be a star? I say, if I ever learn, I'll tell you. But I don't make me a star. You make me a star. I have
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with that. People either like you or they don't like you. They'll see your work and give it thumbs up. They'll see your work and give it thumbs down. They'll see some of your work and give it both because that's the breadth of your career.
That's right.
Some you do great, some you do bad. But none of it was idea for me growing up. That 10-year-old kid we was talking about, that dude
Mm-hmm.
didn't know nothing about no Hollywood. He wasn't trying to be no actor, nothing like that. But here we are. Um, and I'm on this podcast. I'm talking to the crazy ant people. And here
That's
we go.
right.
What do you mean, man?
That's right.
But I cannot I didn't ask for this, so I'm ecstatic that it has become what it has become. Because as I say, sometimes your destiny finds you.
Mm,
And I think in this case, that's what happened.
mm.
Mm.
Wow. Wow. Just like, man, you've got to be one of the most genuine human beings that we've ever had the pleasure to talk to. You are. I'm just gonna say you are a walking tourism ad for New Orleans, my friend.
Now
If
that, my
if
friend,
if
thank
someone
you.
listens to this interview and doesn't want to immediately go to New Orleans and meet people like you, I don't know
Come on
what's
out.
wrong with them. I'm
Listen,
like,
come
this
on
is
out.
New Orleans right here. People always ask me why I love it so much, why I talk about it so much. Right there, this is
That,
why, because of
that is
people like you.
Thank you, my friend.
Oh my
I appreciate
goodness,
you. Listen,
man.
the comparison with New Orleans, I do a daily radio show called The Front Porch, right on WBOK
There you go.
12:30 a.m. And And it's available on all podcasts all around. We broadcast it, Facebook, Instagram. That's the commercial. All right,
Oh
let me
yeah.
get that out of the way. But
Yes.
it's called the front porch because that's where I grew up. I
Yeah.
grew up on the front porch with my grandfather and his friends. And, I was a little boy, so at that time there were rules where children knew their place. You were
Mm-hmm.
seen, not heard, but they didn't mind you being there. And I was astute enough to listen and laugh and not laugh too loud because you ain't supposed to be listening. But you learn a lot. That's what I wanted my show to be about. But the unmitigated star of my show that I knew when I got a chance to do it would make it practically bulletproof is New Orleans. The
Yes.
star of my show, we do festivals, we do music, we do art, we do photography, we do all the things that make New Orleans New Orleans. At the same time, current events, we laugh about what's happening in Washington, we cry about what's going on in Palestine, and we talk about so many different things because it's a front porch conversation.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's a front porch. People stop by. We've had great musicians, Hurl and Riley and John Boutte, and I don't want to name it because I'll be leaving people out, but folks stop by and we sit on the porch and we talk and they leave and they're like, man, this was one of the best interviews ever because I don't want you to come when you have something. I
That's
want you to
right.
come just because you're here. I don't want you to come because you're pushing the book or because you're pushing the thing. I just want you to stop by the front porch
That's right.
because we sitting on the front porch kicking it, telling people what's happening, how you doing. And that's why I think I get the success on that show that I do on the front porch because the star of the show is New Orleans.
Mm.
Mm,
She's the star, unmitigated.
love
You
it.
can't name me one individual. I don't care if from princes to potentates to presidents, they've all made their way down to this little raggedy city at the foot of the river. They have come. She has been as big as Louis Armstrong, as big as Bono, as big as uh, Enrico Caruso. All if you were anybody at the top of your field in music or arts or opera, anything like that, for the past 200 plus years, you made your way to
That's
New
right.
Orleans.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There's no question. You made your way to New Orleans because you had to. Name me a star that has come. Some of them have ascended and gone down. Some of them have ascended and are still rising. Some of them you never heard of again. But New Orleans is still there.
Yep.
Yep.
New Orleans is still there. She has not diminished. She has not lost one step. And all of those folks have come and gone. So, in the grand scheme of things, she is the star of the show. And it is my honor and privilege to absolutely have a chance to show her off.
Ooh, baby. Gotta let the good times roll. Got me going
Laissez-les
now.
bon temps rouler.
That's
I
right.
swear. I swear. I love it. I love it. Well, listen, thank you again so much for coming on the show. And I mean, this is what we've been trying to do with our show as well. Just have conversations about projects and things that we love. We're not a typical Q&A type of thing. We just like talking about what we like talking about.
I
And
love it, man.
we're absolutely blessed that you came on. But yeah, promote everything one more time and tell people where to follow you on social media.
I am on Instagram at Gralen Bryant Banks. That's Gralen, 6 letters, Gralen Bryant Banks. The show is called The Front Porch. It broadcasts on WBOK 1230 AM, WBOK 1230 AM.com. We are on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and you can also find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We're there
Nice.
too. So there you go. If you can't find me through all of that, I don't want you finding me.
Right?
There you go. There you go. Listen, man. I'm gonna come to your porch. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna come to your
Come on.
porch. I can cook. I learned to cook in New Orleans. I'll cook you
Come on.
something. We'll just
Come on, dude. You cannot threaten me with a good time, my friend. You cannot threaten me with a good time. I
Ain't no
scared.
threat, my man. I'm following through. I promise you.
Come on.
That's
Listen,
funny.
you got my information. You guys come to the city. Get at your boy. We'll go out. We'll kick it. We'll make sure you see some New Orleans, and we'll share New Orleans the way you love to share New
That's
Orleans.
right,
All right?
because I tell people that all the time. It is so much more than just the French Quarter, people.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
is so much. Yeah, if
Absolutely.
people knew New Orleans the way we know New Orleans, they'd be like, oh.
They would not go to the French Quarter nearly as much.
Exactly.
Now,
That's
you say
right.
you wouldn't go, but not nearly
That's
as much.
right.
Trust me.
I love it. I love it,
Exactly.
man.
Exactly. Well, listen, take care. Thank you again.
I
And we'll be
shall.
talking to you soon.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Shouts out to Crazy and I appreciate you guys, man. Jay Logan and Dustin and Jay Logan, man. You guys, thank you. This has been a pleasure. I'm always around. If you need me, holler at your boy. All right.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We need more New Orleans people on the show. Like after this interview, I just want to have more New Orleans people.
I'm telling you, bro. I mean, when you first met me, I told you, right? Like how much I love that place, how much
Yes.
it is me. I say I was born in New York, but my home is Louisiana. I say that all the time. And it's because of people like him. That is authentic New Orleans right there. That is authentic Louisiana right there. And I am so glad our industry is making a comeback there. I am so glad that it is giving him opportunity to show himself we need more, not just more Gralens on the show. We just need more Gralens in the world, bro.
Yes. Completely agree. Thank you again, Mr. Banks, for coming on the show.